Hi, Chapter 3, Section 5. This is the last section of Chapter 3, and it begins by reviewing what we already should have known about slopes, and that is that slopes are usually identified with an M, and that our slope is a ratio between the y's and the x's. Okay, so we'll have a chance to practice on that many, many, many times. Okay, next, I would like to remind you of your y-intercept form, where our M is our slope, and our B is our y-intercept. Okay. Now, most of what we're doing today in today's work has to do with parallel lines and perpendicular lines. They're going to ask us to create and find parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So you need to understand the relationship of what makes a line parallel to another line. What makes a line perpendicular to another line. Okay? So we're starting off with parallel. First of all, notice this little symbol right here? That is not an 11. That is a parallel symbol. And what we're trying to say here is to remind you that parallel slopes is the same as the original slope. Okay? If we had an equation y equals 3x plus 1, and we had another one, 3x plus 3, we could clearly see that the slope is 3. And since both slopes are the same, we can see that these two lines are parallel. It is just that easy. Okay. Now, when it comes to perpendicular, okay, let me remind you what that means. When it comes to perpendicular lines, like these two lines, this is the symbol that we use for perpendicular. It's not an upside down T, that's perpendicular. And a perpendicular slope is the original slope, but flipped upside down, okay, and with a different sign. So if we had the equation y equals 2/3 x minus 5, okay, and then we tried to write an equation with the perpendicular slope, I would take the 2/3, flip it upside down, change the sign, and now this equation is perpendicular. That's how you make a line perpendicular. You need to follow the formula for perpendicular slopes. All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at some examples here. Remember, we have 2 points here, xy, xy, right? When we do our slopes, it's y 7 minus 3, 5 minus 3 on the bottom. Okay, that's how we get 4 over 2. Our slope is 2. All right. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, if I went a little fast, please, you got to ask, you got to know how to do slopes. You're going to be doing slopes forever and a day. So please make sure that you are well versed on how to find slopes. You should not even hesitate about what you need to write down and so on. Okay. Now this is a little bit more like the work that we're going to be doing today. Write an equation that is parallel to the given equation and that goes through point P. So here's an example right here. They give me an equation. And the first thing I notice is that this line right here, that is not in slope-intercept form. So I change it. I minus 2 from both sides so that I can put it in slope-intercept form. And that's what I did right here. Okay. Next, to find my B, to find my new y-intercept, I need to rewrite it. Notice I use the same slope, that's parallel. I don't know what the new B is going to be, so it's going to call just BB. And for my x and y goes, that's where I put my point. This is my x, this is my y. This is my x, this is my y. I substitute x and y where the x and y go so that I can find my new y-intercept. What happened to the old y-intercept? Well, nothing. It's just that we can't use that one because that one would be the same as the old point. We need a new spot, therefore we need a new y-intercept. So when I work out -2 times 2, I get -4. I add 4 to both sides and find out that my new y-intercept is 7, and that's the number I need. My slope is the same. My new y-intercept is 7. I put them together, and I get my new equation of a line. All right. Now, let's go and take a look at the daily exercises here. Okay. Tell whether the lines through the given points are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. All right. So we take the first line. Again, we take -2 minus 1, -7 minus a -3. Now, as soon as I see that, I change it to plus. When I work it out, I get -3 on top, a -4 on the bottom. The negatives cancel top bottom wise, and that's my first slope. Okay, I can't tell anything about parallel, perpendicular from the slope. I need to compare two slopes. So for the second line, I do the same thing. 4 minus a -1, which I immediately recognize as plus. 8 minus 2, that's 5/6. That's 5/6, and that is not. Now, notice they are not the same. That means they're not parallel. They're not a reciprocal with an opposite sign, so they're not perpendicular either. In fact, in this case, they're neither one of them. Okay, now let's take a look at letter B here and letter C. Write an equation of a line passing through point B that is parallel to the given point. So, in order to write an equation of a line, I need two pieces of information, the M and the B. To do that, I need to know whether it's parallel or not. It says it's going to be parallel. So, there's my slope, there's my slope. All I really need, is to find out what the B is. So, I use this information. Instead of the 3, I write a B. And now, to find the B, I use this X and this Y and this X and this Y. Then I subtract 4 from both sides. It turns out my B is 2, and there's my answer. There's my M, there's my B. This is the equation of a line that will do what they want me to do. All right, now let's try it one more time. This time we're not going to do parallel, we're going to do perpendicular. We need to make an equation of a line. To do that, we need two pieces of information, the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, now this one says y equals -3. Let's think about that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's this. They want us to go through the dot 4, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's down here. And they want it to be perpendicular. Okay, well, look, I mean, I haven't done any math yet, but I'm just thinking about this. Perpendicular would go straight up and down. So the real question is, what's the name of that line? The name of that line is x equals 4. Okay, and if we have an up and down line when x equals 4, then it will definitely go through any dot where x equals 4. Alrighty, strange as it may be. Strange as it may be. All right. All right. If you have any questions about that, you go ahead and let me know. Ask me or ask a different teacher. Good luck.